council meeting will now come to order. It's February the 8th. Will everyone rise for the pledge of allegiance to the flag, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Congressman. Roll, please.
Clark?
Here.
Conan?
Here.
Wolock?
Here.
Ballard?
Here.
Sleds?
Here.
Belkey?
Here.
Approval of the agenda. What's the council's wishes, please?
Need to add change order number 5 at the sewer plant.
All right.
The item E of new business.
I've already given you guys an agenda statement for that.
Mr. President, in light of the addition, I move the agenda be accepted as amended.
Been moved. Start by Conan. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. And we will move to citizen comments. Let the record show that there's no citizens sitting in the audience. So we will move on. Next is presentations. And we don't have any presentations tonight. Next is the administrative reports, which includes the treasurer's report, the commissioner liaison reports, planning commission meeting minutes of January 4th of 21.
Did you say treasurer's report?
No.
Okay. So it's not
Yeah, I
my
think you
meeting.
did.
I already did. Oh, you know why? It's on the agenda. You know what? Somehow I got messed up when the, yep, that's
I didn't
my
do
fault.
one.
Yep.
I read the paper.
You read the agenda, not
Okay.
the statement, but the agenda.
I read the paper. I'm sorry.
I'm just including it on every meeting apparently, so my fault.
I'm just going to make a note that I got a bunch of stuff in there in the liaison reports. It's all water stuff, so I'm going to talk it in old business underwater.
Very good, thank you. Any commissioners that want to address at this time, other than Belkey? Nothing about the planning commission, no, Mr. Cohen?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Later on, we'll have
Oh,
some.
very good, thank you. Next will be the consent agenda. Approval of the regular council meeting minutes of January 25th of 21 and the payment of bills. What is council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
Given by
Clark.
Clark? Okay, I'm sorry. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Aye. Old business, the sewer plant, which will be Mr. Clark's department.
Yeah, I see we've got included here the minutes of the construction meeting of January 6th. I don't know if any of you have gone over that, but I've got a few added things. I told you about some of the phantom alarms that we were getting for SBR number 1 on the blower, which was actually out of service. That seems to have been taken care of, which is a good thing. And just this last Wednesday, I attended a construction meeting. I did go downstairs at the main plant. One of the blowers has been disassembled and reassembled down there. It's not moved into its proper place yet, but it's down there. And I finally had a chance to go in the new pipe gallery building to see the piping and rigging down there. It's a pretty good sized building. It's really deep into the ground. It's big. And things are coming along. They're doing more electrical and running more pipe. And then in this change order, I'll discuss some other stuff that's coming up. Other than that, that's about all I've got, unless anybody's got a question.
No other questions of Mr. Clark? Water department, Mr. Belkey, please.
Okay, my usual laundry list. Okay, as of last week, we submitted the second of our 2 grant applications to Eagle. Total worth of these grants is $1.25 million. So the first, the DWAM grant. It's drinking water asset management. We put in for approximately $100,000. I'm not going to go into details, but that was submitted. We're looking for an award with fingers crossed on or about the 15th of March. So it could impact current budget planning. The second one we just got in this last weekend. It's a C2R2 grant, which is Consolidation and Contamination Risk and Reduction Grant. So one I really got my fingers crossed for, that went in for $1,140,000. And what that does is that would pay for our water treatment plant media replacement, all 4 vessels, not just 2. And it would also do our arsenic detention project. So we get both of those done. Now the interesting thing is there were only 32 applicants in the state for that. And so I think there's a good chance that we may get all or some of it. Hopefully all, right? So fingers crossed again. That award date will be honored before the 15th of April. So again, keep fingers crossed. Capital investment planning report, it's going to come up in new business, so I won't touch upon that much, other than just that Steve and Chris just need some help if we go into a phase 2 with some more information on sewer conditions and street conditions. We're starting to do work on the long-term joint waterworks and sewer contract with F&B. We're under the current transition to management contract for the waterworks component. At this point, we, again, given the 10 hours a week that we estimated and 5 weeks under our belt, the cost should have been $4,250. Right now our costs are $1,657.50. So we're definitely in the black now. I would expect that to start to change a little bit as we get into February and F&B starts taking over some of the management aspects of the facility, and then into March where Ed is really going to start stepping out. So currently we're in great shape. I expect that to start to change a little bit as the hours per week with F&B go up, but continue to manage. Right now everything is under budget and on track. As far as this long-term contract, we really have 3 meetings to go before the end of March. We have to have a contract in place by the 1st of April because that transition contract ends on the end of March with Ed's retirement. So you'll start to see over the next 3 meetings a lot of discussion about that. I did pass to Jeff today. He's not had a chance to take a look at it, but the contractual component, the legalese piece of the contract, what's going to need to happen is Steve and I get together on scopes of work, system descriptions, and some other stuff. That will generate pricing as well, which will need to go into the budget. So we're working on that. Next item, cross-connection and control and backflow prevention. We did talk about it at the last meeting. We sent out the water bills to the non-residential customers that starting the 1st of April, we were going to be doing cross-connection inspections. I've got 1 or 2 questions from non-residential customers, which is good. I encourage those so I can answer anybody's concerns. There will be an initial inspection, test inspection conducted on the 8th of March regarding the municipal taps, right? So it's the village hall, it's our sprinkler system, it's the DPW building, so on. So any commissioners that are interested in observing that, please let me know and we'll get you involved in that. All of that stuff is moving along well, and we should be ready to go for the general non-residential inspections on the 1st of April. And then I think we also mentioned this the last time, we did also send out a mailer to the both residential and non-residential, question. Residential, yeah, residential and non-residential. Non-residential being businesses, generally. Customers in the village that are in arrears on water bills to please get with the village offices about a payment plan. Payment plan to us suggests good faith
that you understand you have an overdue bill and you're going to work with us to pay it. We expect that the governor's water shut-off abeyance order will end on or about the 31st of March, in which case then anybody that's not paid is subject to water shut-off. So again, encourage those that have outstanding bills to come and talk to us. We don't want to shut anybody down, turn the water off. We just want to see a good faith effort to pay some of the bill that's owed for water already used. Okay, Mr. President, that's all I got.
Good, okay, thanks.
Good job, Bob.
Any questions of Mr. Belkey, please? If not, we will move on to new business. Consider adoption of a resolution calling an annual public hearing on special assessment roll for the village, Armada Village Police special assessment. So what is the council wishes for?
Mr. President, if I may, I have a question on this. Do I have to read this entire summary?
No, you're adopting that resolution.
Just the resolution?
Yep.
Okay, good. I will resolve to adopt the resolution calling annual public hearing on special assessment roll for the Armada Village Police Special Assessment District on March 22, 2021 at 7 p.m.
Support.
Vice Glad? Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Oh, you will.
Ballard?
Yes.
Sledge?
Yes.
Belkey?
Yes.
Clerk?
Yes.
Bullock?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Shaw's absent.
Right, okay. Pardon me. Next will be Planning Commissioner resignation. Board of Council, please. We have a short letter in there.
Okay, just so everybody knows, our chairman, Ben DeLucky, resigned from the Planning Commission. He's been the chairman for a long time, probably 15 years, 20 years.
Approximately.
Richard was before that, I think.
And me? No, I was before it.
What?
I was before it.
Chris was.
I brought Ben back.
Yeah.
Chris was.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I would like to move to accept the resignation of Ben DeLucky with regret from the Planning Commission, effective immediately. The clerk is instructed to place an advertisement for an open position on the Planning Commission in the record, on the village website, and in the office window.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion?
You added that word, regret, Michelle, did you get that?
Yep.
Okay.
I do think we do owe Ben a thank you for all his service to the Planning Commission. He's been the head, how long would you say, Chris?
Oh boy. 2006 when I left.
He did it a couple
So
times.
14, and then it was before, yeah, then before Richard had on too.
Yeah, he
So
was,
it's,
he's probably
in the
got 20
90s.
years,
Yeah.
yeah, plus.
It's a very thankless job. So we certainly want to thank Ben for his service.
Thank you, Mr. Conan. So, you want to roll call?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Next is the Macomb County Master Gardener Association grant.
I just wanted to, there's a resident who is a master gardener, and she has to be, I'm not trying to explain this right, Jeff, maybe you can help me. She has to be affiliated with a municipality of some kind I'm not sure exactly how it works, so Gene, if you're watching, I'm sorry if I don't have this right. But she found a grant opportunity for the village for our bump out gardens. It's $150, it's not a lot, but they don't take a lot to maintain. And she provided us with some ideas of what we could maybe use that money for. She has created a monarch butterfly garden in front of Licks. You know, so there's just some ideas she has. Ross approached me this before the meeting and asked if I was looking for some help to fill this out, because Sam, who used to be on council, Sam Belkey, who's also a phenomenal gardener.
She's a master gardener.
She is a master, okay, yep. Well, she's a phenomenal master gardener. Had offered to help, so I'm gonna take her up on that if she's, you know, still willing. If you guys, you know, allow us to go forward with it, so it's just to apply for a grant.
What is the council for?
Mr. President, I'll resolve to allow the clerk to apply for a grant through the Macomb County Master Gardener Association on behalf of the village.
Support. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you.
Next is the acceptance of the F&V Capital Improvement Planning Report. Mr. Belkey, did you want to make a short comment?
We've been talking about this for a while. Again, we started this because I, as the water commissioner, was seeing a number of projects coming before us that we simply don't have the money for, right? And concerned that if we try to piecemeal our way through that over the next 10 to 500 years, it's going to avalanches, right? So, in fact, that's one of the reasons why we applied for the grants that I discussed earlier. Because right now, by the plan, and I would suggest that this is a must-read plan for you guys, really need to take a look at it, is our options currently are limited until we pay off some of the current bond debt that we have, or apply for grants. It's really the only path forward to being able to do stuff in a, I would suggest, coordinated, synchronized way, right? And that's fixing, you know, roads, streets, roads, sewer, and water lines, right? There are some things within the departments, like the water treatment plant or the wastewater treatment plant, that are unilateral, I guess if that's the appropriate word, projects that have to be done by that particular commissioner, but there's enough things in the village that are really the mix of at least 3 commissioners and their departments working together. So, and we've always had a problem tackling those. This report talks about that and gives us some suggested paths forward. The thing that is really of interest to us, because the budget situation is the budget situation, is to understand where the priorities are and then develop a list of short-term projects we're going to try to tackle and long-term projects. You really need that to be able to effectively set up budgets into the future. So that would be the next step. We've got some initial information in the plan. That's where I would go next, is to show up what's in the plan as Appendix A, which is these different infrastructure projects and what lies on top of each other, and Appendix B, which is a short and long-term priorities with the dollar figures attached. So you'll hear that from me coming up here soon. I think we just got to get a handle on it. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about it more, but I want to put the final plan now before council for acceptance. So make a motion that the village council accept the final Fleiss and Vanderbrink Incorporated Capital Improvement Planning Report dated 31 December 2020, revised, and consider this particular effort complete.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion?
It's an eye-opener. Take a look at it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Thank you.
Next is the change order by Mr. Park, please, Mr. Stewart.
Well, I don't know if everybody's had a chance to glance at change order number 5. I'll kind of give a quick synopsis here. Change order number 4, which we approved a couple of weeks ago, we had a couple of valves that were in the bottom of the SBR tanks that have to be replaced. And due to them not functioning properly, we can only drain down the tank so far. And right now, it's figured there's about 1.5 to 2 foot of grit that would have to be removed from the tank. The tanks have to be cleaned, power washed, and then recoated. And right now, we've got a problem because there's water mixed in with this. Of course, we know what the temperature is right now, quite cold. So the plan is to have the Vector truck come in. We've got some heat blankets and some other stuff we're going to put in there to start to melt this stuff, and then they're going to pump it out with the Vector truck, and they're going to put it in the drying beds. There was much discussion over this. I had, at the last construction meeting last month, it was discussed, and I thought things were all set and on track. Well, when I came to the meeting this Wednesday, we were still talking about it, and they had kind of laid out this game plan. And if you read real quick, they talked to quite a few different companies. One of the companies wanted to come in and do this for $300,000. Well, that's not going to happen. So much discussion with Sorensen and Gross and Rowe. They got a hold of Deutsch Company, which we have used here for cleaning some of our basins and doing other work here. They came up with a plan, and the second sheet of this, up to that, SPR number 1, we have to thaw the contents, and they mobilize. They're going to be there 5 days. It's 11,000. The vacuum truck 41, and then we got to put some gravel down to move the truck around. Anyway, the long and short of it, on SPR number 1, we're at over $42,000. Sorensen Gross was going to be doing part of this work anyway, so they're kicking in their portion that they would have spent on it, contributed to that. They're going to include, they're giving us a little over $13,000 on VAT on each SBR tank to put towards this. So the worst one's going to be number 1 right now because we're in the weather that we're in, and it has, they think, the most amount of grit and sludge in it. SBR number 2, they figure they're going to be doing that around April, so thawing of it won't be a problem. And talking to Chris Munson, he was there during this meeting. He had mentioned that maybe SBR 2 and 3, they have used those valves in the last couple of years, and maybe those will work. He said SBR number 1 was always a problem, and they did try it, and they could not get it to work. So these prices for SBR 2 and 3 could conceivably even be less than this if they're able to draw down, if the valves work and everything. So total for everything here is estimated total $57,461. I had many discussions that day with Sorensen and also Doug Skyless and Doug Scott from Rowe, and this is what it is.
Now this is just so they can clean these tanks out, get everything out of those tanks. So
because they also have to be cleaned out so they can replace these valves in the tanks too.
But they clean that out from what's been there forever then.
Yeah. So
Can I ask a question? So what was your understanding of what the 13,000 per tank?
that's the part that Sorensen had figured in the price anyway. But with Deutsch doing this work, they're taking over Sorensen's part. So Sorensen's like giving back.
Right. They're not going to have to do it.
Right. They don't have to do it, so now Deutsch is doing it.
But I guess my question was, is it the fact that the valves weren't working? So when we bid it out, we didn't know that the valves wouldn't be working.
Right. Correct.
And so they bid roughly 40,000 thinking the valves would work.
Right.
And now the valve's not working. This is why we have to go
with what we're doing.
That makes sense.
And again, we've got this cold snap that the stuff that's down there now is just frozen like a rock. And we really don't have the, we can't wait till things thaw.
That was the question, can we wait till?
No, to keep things moving, this has gotta be done. Or it's
Thanks, the rest of
gonna be a thing where they're shut down for a month, guys are going to other jobs, and then
And
they're
get it
not
back.
paid because of, damages, and we don't wanna go there. And I don't wanna have to do this, but this is
It is what it is.
Gotta be done.
so.
But the bottom line, you're saying, Mr. Clark, the 57 could be less possible?
It could.
Yeah.
If numbers 2 and 3 work better, there is a chance that they can be less. I kind of wanted, I didn't even want to include 2 and 3 on this because it's down the line and we don't know. But this is the way that, so I had questions with Doug Scottis. I said, I really don't want to go this way. I just want to deal with the 1 and see what happens. And they went back and forth, and he suggested that we go with the whole thing. And if anything, he says, they're gonna watch them on this, so that they're not padded the bill on this to make up for something else. Because I brought that question up. I said, I don't feel comfortable. They give me a price, and if things work out really good, they've made more money. And he said, no, it's not gonna happen that way. We'll keep an eye on things, so.
Well, probably in essence, you're talking 26,600 roughly, possibly by saving almost. That would be a true statement?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's so clear, well, actually,
40, close to 40.
they're giving you,
We're only gonna be paying 73,
they're giving you about 40,000 back.
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Okay,
So if there are no more questions?
Steve, I do have one more question.
Sure.
So I know those other valves, but what's the age of those valves in 2 and 3? Are they the
30
same?
years old. the original.
See, I mean,
Yeah, they're,
I imagine it, I know you hope that, but I hate to think we have to go back in a year or 2 because those valves go bad.
no, well, we were all, they're gonna be replaced.
Oh, okay.
We've already, that was all in
Yeah, okay.
the plan from the beginning that they were gonna be.
It's just
replaced.
now
It's just,
doing that.
can they function now to get the
Got it.
stuff out of
Okay.
there?
Got it. All right.
So. Okay, a resolve to approve change order number 5 for a net increase of $57,461 to the contract for the wastewater treatment plant SRF project 5645-01 to allow for the sludge and grit removal in the 3 SBR tanks and allow the sewer commissioner to sign change order number 5 on behalf of the village.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, clerk call roll, please.
Clark,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Yes.
Elke, Sledge,
Yes.
Cronin,
Yes.
Bullock.
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mr. Clark. I know it's very time consuming. So, you're putting in a good job down there. So, thanks again. Is there any up and coming agenda items council wishes? So now?
Again, just fair warning, we'll be, I'm gonna grab Steve when I say this, we're both gonna be hitting you guys up on this longer term water works and water treatment plant contract as we discuss it over the next several meetings. So, again, just a point that there's 3 more meetings before we tilt, so it's not a lot of time.
Okay, next is the citizen comments. There's no citizens in the audience, so let the record show. And next is council comments. Does council have any comments?
Just a quick one. It is winter and people still use your sidewalks out front, whether you think so or not, and please shovel the walks and keep the paths clear.
Thank you for your comment, Mr.
Steve
Clark.
and I kind of race to see who gets their sidewalk done first. He beat me the last bigger snow, but that dusting I beat him on.
Oh, good.
And Ross is in 3rd place.
I was gonna say, I get mine done if you get yours done.
I think the apartments are in first place down there, so.
Next is community events. Anyone announce any new community events? If not, No closed session tonight. I'm going to entertain a motion for adjournment, please.
Time is 7:34, I move to adjourn.
By Mr. Bell and by Bell. Move to adjourn. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. So.